Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Hello everyone, my name is Hilda Rafika Waty, Master Candidate at the Magister of Education of Islamic Religion of Ibnu Khaldun University, Indonesia, at the first International Conference on Education, Teaching and Learning Innovation. On this occasion, I would like to share my research with the title Characteristic of the Ideal Muslimah or Muslim women personal in the Shakhsiyatul Mar'ah al-Muslimah book and its application to Generation Z. Of moral crisis or moral degradation as shown by Commission of Indonesian Child Protection 2020, there are the discovery of 4,448 cases of pornography and cybercrime. This shows that how low the level of morals in Indonesia is, so it really needs modern moral or character education that keeps up with the times so that it can be accepted by today's youth and adults. The existence of different generations also contributes to differences in responding to character education. Currently, Generation Z dominates the Indonesian population in the age range of 7 until 23 years, which is at 27.94%. This shows that today's Islamic society is heavily influenced by the contribution of Generation Z in the social, economic, political, educational, and religious fields. Based on research on Muslim women in 2020, data was obtained that the number of Muslim female students in private vocational high school in several areas of Bogor Regency, students who have covered their genitals by using the hijab at school, is quite high. It's a 90%, with the Shari manner still in the range of 30 until 40%, and female students who consistently cover a Shari manner are at 15 until 20%. So this shows that many young Muslim women still do not understand the nature and purpose of Islamic law, although as we know that women have a very large role and influence in fostering generations of the Ummah. Muhammad Ali al-Hashimi is a figure who focuses on many fields, especially in moral education. In Muhammad Ali al-Hashimi's book, Shakhsiyatul Mar'ah al-Muslimah, he discusses how to become an ideal Muslim woman. One of the previous research was conducted by Jamil 2018 entitled The Role of Muslim Women in Children's Education according to Dr. Muhammad Ali Hashimi. This study discusses Muslim women must know and understand her responsibilities toward herself and her family in moral development. The purposes of this study was to analyze the personal character of Muslim women or Muslimah according to the perspective of Muhammad Ali al-Hashimi in the book of Shakhsiyatul Mar'ah al-Muslimah and its application to the current Z generation of Muslim women based on the Quran and As-Sunnah. This research is expected to be useful as a treasure of knowledge in Islamic moral education. This research method uses a descriptive qualitative method with library research techniques. Data collection through literature study was obtained based on primary data sources from the book Shakhsiyatul Mar'ah al-Muslimah and the secondary data obtained based on journal references, scientific papers, and several books or other scientific articles. The data collection techniques by collecting data relating to the characteristic of Muslim women, the connection between the Quran Al-Ahzab verses 32 until 34, and other verses related to Amar Ma'ruf Nahi Munkar concept for Generation Z. Is Ali Imran verses 104 and 110. In testing the validity of the data, the author uses source triangulation, namely by testing the credibility of the data by checking the data obtained through several sources. The resultant discussion. The first point is about characteristics of Muslimah according to the book of Shakhsiyatul Mar'ah al-Muslimah. In the discussion of this book, the tools of him in his book will be examined, which are related to the personal ideals of Muslimah in the book of Shakhsiyatul Mar'ah al-Muslimah. It will be presented in tabular form as a concept map and specified into 6 major chapters in Table 1 as follows. The Table 1 is about analysis of the contents of the discussion of the book of Shakhsiyatul Mar'ah al-Muslimah. It's shown by Muslimah personal chapter, such as Muslimah with God, Muslimah with herself, Muslimah with her parents, Muslimah with her husband, Muslimah with her children, family, and Muslimah with her friends or the community. The characteristics shown based on the table are the ideal Muslim women's personal characteristics that can be applied to a Muslim woman who wants to change and tries to improve her worship's moral and appearance. The second is about characteristics of Muslimah based on Quran Surah Al-Ahzab 32 until 34. In the interpretation of Tafsir al-Azhar, it's clarified that these verses explain that the gracefulness of a woman is not allowed in speaking, that is, she must be polite and firm. In addition, the interpretation of this verse also contains that it's not permissible for women to dress like the ignorant people who show their beauty and highlight what they have. This is the main guideline for women of faith and piety, even though this guideline is primarily specific to the wives of the Prophet, but this is also stated for all existing women. And the third point is about implementation of characteristics ideal of Muslim women to Generation Z with the concept of Amar Ma'ruf Nahi Munkar. As we know, the characteristics of Generation Z have several prominent characters, including one. The first is credulous, the condition of someone who is very easy to believe and believes in something even though the truth is still doubtful. And the second is a character that is very tolerant of cultural differences, including the bad culture that develops in society. This is characteristic is a challenge in the process of strengthening the character of Gen Z. True Muslim women are those who always obey Allah and His Messenger and can implement Amar Ma'ruf Nahi Munkar. There are several verses in the Quran that discuss the concept of Amar Ma'ruf Nahi Munkar. It's including Quran Surah Al Imran verses 104 and 110. Based on several interpretations of the verses Amar Ma'ruf Nahi Munkar in Quran Surah Al Imran 104 and verse 110, the definition of Amar Ma'ruf refers to several descriptions based on Tafsir Ibn Kathir and Imam At-Tabari. Definition of Amar Ma'ruf is definition is Amar Ma'ruf is commanded to believe in Allah and His Messenger, to justify Muhammad and the teachings he brought from Allah. And the definition of Nahi Munkar is matter that Allah denies and is seen as bad by believers. So that the result of this research with the compilation of Shakhsiyatul Mar'ah, a Muslimah book, and the concept Amar Ma'ruf Nahi Munkar, which can be applied to Gen Z, can be seen in this table too. The table 2 is about personal characteristics of Muslim women in Gen Z based on the book. It's shown that category Muslim women with God, it can be applied by such as like a make worship targets or challenge with self-reward and punishment. And then for the category Muslim women with herself, it can be applied by looking for a Generation Z community or provision of knowledge and skills according to their interests and talents, or the following the Islamic coaching program. And the next is for the category Muslim women with her parents and family. It can be applied by strengthening the role of Muslim families to be Amar Ma'ruf Nahi Munkar through parenting. And for the category Muslim women with friends and social community, it can be applied by join the good community or share goodness in the real world and cyberspace or social media, and it can be applied by presenting figures or leaders for sharing or dialogues. And finally, we get a conclusion from this research is first is the book of Shakhsiyatul Mar'ah al-Muslimah is provides guidance on the morals of Muslim women, which consists of Muslim women towards her God, with herself, with her parents, relatives, friends, and community. And then the second is the application of ideal Muslimah character education in Gen Z. It can be applied by instill faith and devotion to Allah or implement the values of Amar Ma'ruf Nahi Munkar. And the third is pay attention to and maintain the personality of Muslim women for themselves based on Al-Quran and Sunnah. And Fourth is develop habits of commendable behavior, improve role in the family, relatives, and social community. The continuity of research in the future can be done by looking at the relationship between a person's Muslim insight, Muslim character, and her Islamic insight. This can be a quantitative indicator that a good Muslim woman also has good insight and knowledge of her religion. For researchers and for the readers is an insight into knowledge and experience about writing scientific papers as a profession for future research, or it can be insight and knowledge in the field of too is one of the contributions and become a reference for subsequent research on the implementation of moral education for Muslim worship with his God, family, relatives, or community. And last, these are my references for my research. And finally, thank you so much for your attention in my presentation. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.